when you're shooting off camera flash, there's absolutely no reason that you should ever be at ISO 100. It just doesn't make sense. There's no reason for it. You shouldn't be there. Simple as that. Okay, so obviously that's not true. Figured I would start the video with some bogus claims so I could fit into the YouTube world. No, obviously there's absolutely nothing wrong with shooting at ISO 100 when you're using flash. Nothing wrong with it at all. But in this video, I do want to talk about why you should not arbitrarily shoot at ISO 100. Now, if you're on YouTube or really anywhere where there's education on using flash, off-camera flash, one of the things that you almost always hear is shoot at base ISO 100 or whatever the base ISO is for your camera. Now, that makes sense, right? Because you're using an external light source. So you're gonna have plenty of light to light your subject or your scene. So shooting at base ISO is gonna give you the cleanest image possible. So it does make sense. But the problem with that is that it drills in your head that if you're using flash, you should be at ISO 100. Now, you're probably wondering, why does it matter? Where are you going with this? I'm gonna touch on that in just a minute. But before I do that, I wanna put some images on the screen. I'm gonna put 4 images on the screen. I'm gonna put them back to back to back to back first, and then I'm gonna put them side by side. Now, one of these images was shot at ISO 800. Now I want you to tell me if you can figure out, if you can pick, if you can decipher which one was shot at ISO 800. Now, of course, by the time you make it to the end of this video, you're gonna have the answer, but I want you to go down to the comments and let me know if you got it right. Which one of these images is ISO 800? And the answer is image B. Now, why am I putting this on the screen? What does it matter? Well, it matters in that more than likely you were not able to tell which one was which. Now, of course, if you pixel peep and you looked at them side by side, you would probably be able to tell. But the reality is a lot of the images that we take as photographers, they land on social media. That's where most of them go. Most people are not looking at images big. Most images are not being printed. And if they are being printed, they're not being printed very large. So at the end of the day, when you're just looking at an image without zooming into it and really pixel peeping, you can't tell the difference between an image shot at ISO 100 and an image shot at ISO 800. Now, random fact, of those 4 images, they actually were 100, 200, 400, 800. Okay, so if you were able to decipher the other ones, congratulations, you've got a good eye for looking at ISO noise. So from 100 to ISO 800, you're looking at 3 stops. Now, this is all gonna make sense in just a minute, so bear with me, okay? Now, when it comes to flash, there's 4 things that I personally think about with flash. Flash power, flash duration, recycle time, and wear and tear on my gear. Now, all 4 of these things tie to ISO in an indirect way. Now, let me give you a scenario. Let's say you're shooting a scene, you set your camera to base ISO 100, because that's what they tell you should do. So you're doing that. Now, in having your having your camera at ISO 100, it's forcing you to have your flash at half power. So you're shooting, you're doing your thing, half power. Now, that might not be a problem, but if you know about flash, you know that once you start getting into quarter, half, certainly when you're at full power, your recycle time is going to be less. So basically it's going to be more time in between the shots that you can get. Now, I don't really shoot continuous very much, but if you are shooting continuous, a lot of those shots that you shoot, the flash is simply not going to be able to keep up. So that's an issue. Also, when you get into those higher power levels, you're going to have a lower flash duration. Now, when it comes to trying to freeze action with your flash, you want a very fast flash duration. So when you see things where they're using a very slow shutter speed, but they're able to still freeze the subject, that freezing is coming from the flash because the duration of that flash is so short that it essentially freezes the subject. As you get into the higher power levels, that flash duration lengthens. So you kind of lose the ability to freeze your subject. So the point of all of this, and to tie it all in together, if you're shooting at base ISO 100 and you're at half power, you're at half power, your flash duration is going to be shorter. Am I saying that right? Your flash duration is shorter or longer? I gotta make sure I'm saying it right. Essentially, your flash, the light is going to exist longer. So it's not going to freeze as much. It is hot. And I've done this video a few times, so I'm all over the place. Your flash, the light is going to exist longer, so it's not going to freeze motion the same, okay? Your recycle time is obviously going to be longer, and your wear and tear on your flash is going to be greater. Now, to side just real quick, think about a car. You got two cars, exact same car, both of them have 10,000 miles on it. One of them has 10,000 highway miles. The other one has 10,000 city start, stop miles. They both have 10,000 miles, but the one with the 10,000 city miles is going to have significantly more wear and tear and likely had more issues than the one at 10,000 miles. So when it comes to flash, it's the same thing. If you're constantly shooting your flash at half power, at full power, sure, it can handle it, but more than likely that flash is going to either encounter issues or completely die on you faster than a flash where you only shot it at 1/16 or 1/32 power. So what I'm trying to say is that when it comes to flash, don't arbitrarily set your camera to ISO 100 that then will possibly cause you to have your flash power significantly higher to be able to get the amount of light that you need. Now, going back to those images in the beginning, you likely weren't able to tell the difference between ISO 100 and ISO 800, but that's 3 stops. Now, if we apply that to this scenario, you'd be going from half power to quarter, 1/8, 1/16 power. So being at 1/16 power, even your speed lights are going to be able to keep up with continuous. Your recycle time is going to be almost instantaneous. One thing that I didn't even mention that just crossed my mind, battery. Your battery is going to last longer, right? So if you're shooting at half power or full power, you're going to chew through batteries. Now, listen, I'm not saying all of this stuff like it's the end of the world, like it's a big deal. We have tons of batteries, right? You might have multiple flashes that you can use. Maybe you're not shooting continuous. Maybe your shoot is short, so you're going to be fine. I'm not saying that any of this is like a earth-shattering problem, but what I am trying to drill home, and if you follow my channel, you know I drill this stuff all the time because I feel like in the photography community, we kind of have these rules, and when you're coming into it, it's like, well, this is what you need to do, and then people just do it without thinking. And I think we need to break away from that and really understand the reason of why we're doing stuff so we know when we need to do different, okay? So certainly not saying that any of this stuff is a big deal, but when it comes to using your flash, instead of always having it at ISO 100 and having to use a higher flash power, bump it up to ISO 200 or 400 or 800. Most cameras today can handle it just fine. I have a Rebel T4i that can handle ISO 800 pretty well. Obviously not as good as my newer cameras, but the point is modern cameras today can handle ISO 800 easy. And that's a 3-stop difference from 1 to 800. So don't be afraid to utilize that. Get out of the mindset that we always have to be at ISO 100. I get it. You want to have the cleanest image possible, and noise does decrease contrast. It does mess with the colors a little bit. So I get it. We don't want noise if we don't need to have it. But at the end of the day, first of all, the only people that really even care about it is us photographers. Most clients don't even know anything about noise or anything of the sort. They don't care. Now, of course, if you got some high-end commercial clients or something like that, they might care. But for the majority of your clients, for the majority of the people who are receiving your photos, they are not going to notice any of it. So we don't need to have like this mindset of, well, we always have to shoot at ISO 100. If it makes sense, great. But if it's forcing you to be at this higher flash power, just think about all those things that I mentioned and really reconsider if it's worth it to shoot at 100 or to bump it up to 200 or 400 to 800, so that way you can bring that flash power down and you reap all the benefits of doing so.